Welcome to We Talk English, your favorite English podcast. We're excited to have you with us today. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected for regular English learning podcasts. Let's get started.
All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going deep on something that's probably touched most of our lives at some point, acne.
Ugh, tell me about it.
We're taking a look at a segment from the We Talk English podcast called Acne Happens. Let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
And what really got me thinking is how this goes way beyond just the surface, the physical stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to unpack this a bit.
Absolutely. I think it's really easy to just brush acne off as like, whatever, it's no big deal. But this source really dives into the emotional side, especially when it comes to mental health and self-esteem.
Yeah, you know that statistic they brought up, that 95% of people between 11 and 30 experience acne at some point?
Mm-hmm.
That's mind-blowing to me. It's like almost everyone goes through this, so why is there so much secrecy around it?
Exactly. And the source even points out that a lot of it comes down to societal pressure. I mean, everywhere you look, it's perfect skin, this flawless complexion, that it's hard not to feel inadequate, especially during those awkward teenage years.
Yeah, you're already dealing with so many changes as a teenager.
Oh, absolutely.
To acne on top of that, oof, talk about a hit to your confidence.
Precisely. And, to make matters worse, acne can stick around way longer than just those teenage years.
Oh, for sure.
Did you know something like 20% of women experience acne even into their 30s and 40s?
Really? Wow, I had no idea it was that common in adulthood.
Yeah, it just goes to show how we often limit our thinking about acne to the teenage experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this misconception can actually lead us to dismiss the struggles of adults with acne and their need for proper treatment and support, too.
That's a really good point. And speaking of understanding, the podcast interviews this dermatologist, Dr. Sharon Critchlow.
Yes.
She's battled acne personally, and she calls it the, quote, bane of my existence.
Right.
That really hit home for me.
Me too.
It's that feeling of something you just can't shake no matter what you try.
Oh, it definitely speaks to the deep emotional impact it can have. And you know what I found fascinating? She mentioned she couldn't even see a dermatologist growing up.
Oh, wow.
She had to rely on those over-the-counter products, which, brings up this whole issue of disparities in healthcare access.
Right.
This is a reality for a lot of people, and it really highlights the need for better and more equitable healthcare systems, for sure.
It makes you realize how much we might take for granted just having access to a dermatologist.
Yeah.
For some people, that's simply not an option.
Right.
So, okay, we've talked about self-esteem and the impact of acne on that, but let's get a little more, technical for a second.
Sure.
The source talks about this link between puberty, hormones, and, acne.
Right, and just to clarify for our listener, during puberty, the body's pumping out more hormones, including testosterone.
Yeah.
This surge in testosterone lead to, you guessed it, acne.
Okay, so it's not just about being a teenager. There's this biological process happening that's kind of out of our control.
Exactly.
But what about adults who still experience acne? Are hormones still the main culprit there too?
It's not always so cut and dry. Hormones definitely play a big role, but other things can factor in, like stress, diet, even genetics. Actually, some women even experience hormonal fluctuations throughout their menstrual cycle that can trigger breakouts, too.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's not just a teenage thing, and it's not just hormones. It's this whole complex interplay of different factors, really.
Right.
And that actually brings me to another point the source makes, which is how we as a society often kind of downplay or trivialize the experience of having acne.
Yes, definitely. They use some interesting vocabulary to describe this, like emotionally vulnerable and getting through.
Yeah, getting through is an interesting way to put it.
I think they really capture the experience of what it's like to deal with acne,
Yeah, and it's worth reflecting on that, right? Like whether it's your own experience or maybe the experiences of people you know who have dealt with acne.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever kind of brushed off your feelings about it or made you feel like it wasn't a big deal?
That's such a crucial question to consider because Dr. Critchlow's message is really powerful here. Even though acne is so incredibly common, it doesn't mean it should be dismissed.
Right.
It's a totally valid reason to seek out help and support.
Absolutely. So then how do we move away from this culture of shame and silence around acne? What would it look like to create a more understanding and supportive environment for people dealing with it, no matter their age?
I think a big part of it comes down to changing the narrative, Instead of always focusing on perfect skin, what if we started prioritizing healthy skin?
That's a really interesting shift. What would that even look like in practice?
Well, for starters, it would mean moving away from those harsh products that strip the skin of its natural oils and actually might even aggravate acne.
So it's not about attacking our skin, but working with it. What else would this shift involve?
It would also involve understanding our own individual skin needs and finding products and routines that support our skin's health rather than trying to just, conform to some arbitrary standard of beauty.
Yeah, that's a great point. We often get so caught up in like following trends or using products that work for other people,
Right.
but without even stopping to think about what our own skin actually needs.
Exactly. And it's not just about the products we put on our skin either. It's about taking a more holistic approach.
Okay.
This means considering things like stress levels, our diet, how much sleep we're getting, all of which can impact our skin's overall health.
So instead of just slapping on a cream and hoping for the best, we need to actually look at the bigger picture and address what might be causing these issues in the first place.
Exactly. And that's where Dr. Critchlow's expertise really comes in. She emphasizes how important it is to actually consult with a dermatologist to get personalized advice and, treatment options.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's so much information out there these days, it can be super overwhelming to figure out what's actually right for you.
Absolutely. A dermatologist can really help you kind of sift through all that information overload and create a plan that's specifically tailored to your needs and concerns.
It's like having a guide in this whole confusing world of skincare.
Exactly.
But what about those of us who, might not have access to a dermatologist? What are some things that we can do on our own to promote healthy skin?
There are definitely some steps you can take. One of the simplest yet most effective things you can do is just pay attention to your diet.
Okay.
Research has shown that a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats can really benefit your skin health.
So what we eat can actually impact our skin.
Oh, it's all connected.
Interesting.
And also, don't underestimate the power of managing your stress levels.
Oh, yeah.
When we're stressed, our bodies release hormones like cortisol, which can increase inflammation, and you know what that means.
Breakouts, probably.
You got it, breakouts.
Oof. That's definitely something I can relate to. Whenever I'm feeling super overwhelmed, my skin seems to freak out.
You're not alone there. Finding healthy ways to manage that stress, like exercise, meditation, or even just spending time in nature, can have a really positive impact on both your mental and skin health.
It's like a win-win.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about diet, stress management, seeing a dermatologist if you can. Are there any other things we can do in our daily routines to, really support healthy skin?
Absolutely. A crucial aspect is establishing a gentle skincare routine. This involves things like cleansing your face twice a day with a mild cleanser,
Okay.
using a moisturizer that's suited for your skin type, and wearing sunscreen every day to protect your skin from those harmful UV rays.
Yeah, that sounds pretty straightforward. But what about all those fancy serums and treatments we see advertised everywhere?
Right.
Are those really necessary for healthy skin?
Not necessarily. While some specialized products can definitely be beneficial for certain skin concerns, it's important to remember that the foundation of healthy skin really lies in that consistent and gentle routine. Don't feel pressured to buy into every trend or product you see out there.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And it's about listening to your skin and paying attention to how it responds to different products and ingredients.
It's almost like having a conversation with your skin.
Yeah.
And learning to understand its unique needs.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, skincare is a journey, not a destination.
Oh, like that.
Your skin will change over time, and that's totally normal. The key is to adapt your routine and your approach as needed.
It's about being flexible and patient with your skin.
Exactly.
So to sum it all up, we've gone from this idea of perfect skin to this idea of healthy skin.
Right. And that shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of achieving some, unattainable ideal and lets us just focus on taking care of our skin from the inside out.
And it's about understanding that everyone's skin is different and there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. What works for one person might not work for another. It's about finding what works best for you and your unique skin.
For sure. And it's about accepting and celebrating the skin you're in, flaws and all.
Absolutely.
Now, I know we've thrown a lot of information at you today, listener.
Yeah.
So let's just take a moment to reflect.
Yes, I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. What resonated with you most from our discussion today?
Yeah.
What are some steps you might be inspired to take to maybe cultivate a healthier relationship with your skin?
We've talked about societal pressure, the science behind acne, the impact it can have on your mental health, the importance of access to healthcare, and even some practical tips for actually promoting healthy skin. So where do you go from here?
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are tons of resources out there to support you, online communities, dermatologists, trusted skincare professionals.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of acne, I think it's important to reiterate Dr. Chrysalis' message.
Don't suffer in silence.
Yeah.
It's okay to seek out help and support.
And it's time we start having more open and honest conversations about acne,
Right.
both with ourselves and with others.
Because by normalizing these conversations, we can create a more understanding and accepting environment for everyone who's struggling with these skin concerns.
It's about shifting that focus from shame to self-care, you know?
Yeah.
And recognizing that healthy skin is a journey, not just this end goal.
Beautifully said. It's about embracing what makes you, you, and understanding that true beauty isn't just skin deep.
And it's about pushing back on those unrealistic beauty standards, right?
Yeah,
Especially when it comes to skin.
definitely.
So, to our listener, we really hope this deep dive into acne has given you a fresh perspective.
Remember, your skin doesn't define you. You are worthy no matter what.
And you're definitely not alone on this journey.
Right, there's a whole community out there who get it.
Keep those deep dive questions coming. And until next time,
Keep exploring, keep learning, stay curious.
thanks for joining us.
And again, thanks for joining us on We Talk English.